Hello, I am Lisa J. Stocks, and thank you for tuning into this week's Stock Talk episode. And I titled this one, It Must Be Nice. And let's get into my thought process behind today's show. Have you ever worked hard for something, stayed consistent, made those sacrifices time after time, and then someone looks at you and says, It must be nice? Well, today that's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to get into the real story behind all of the work that it takes to accomplish what we have achieved. So let me know in the comments if you can relate to the topic of today. There's a quote by Kevin Durant that I think most of you will be familiar with, and it's that you weren't there when I was shooting in the gym. And another favorite of mine is by Chris Sane. And he says, everyone sees the result and no one considers the journey. So that is basically what we're going to be talking about in the first part of today's show. So, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're not already, but definitely take a second to give the live a thumbs up. Thank you to Daryl, Elevated, Big Sis, and everyone that has tuned in so far and is chatting. I appreciate the support. So I think we can all relate to what I'm talking about, or maybe some of us are on the other side of it. And I hope I can shift your mindset to realize the work that it takes, But let's talk about it. People, they see the performance. They don't know what you did. They don't know the repetition, the work, the amount of hours, the sacrifice, the discipline behind what you achieved. And this is what I'm thinking about. So I will not be saying this about anyone else. I'm in a race, I'm in a competition with myself. I'm just trying to improve. I am looking to others for inspiration, but I'm not hating on them. I have to realize that they did the work, they have accomplished certain things, and there's a lot of things that we can't even see. We might see the house and the car and the vacation, the clothes, the watch, but we're not seeing their savings account. We're not seeing their investment account. We're not seeing their mortgage statements, their credit card bills. And so just keep your mind on the goal, and that is to focus on building your portfolio, improving your financial outlook. And so let's get more into the topic. Just like that discipline of these professional athletes, we have to bring our discipline when it comes to investing the same way. And just concentrate on the key elements that you're trying to improve in your portfolio. And there are so many. I put up a poll, guys. So take the poll question, and I will try to remember. I have another one, but I have to remember to take a look at the results on that. Let me see. Can I see it so far? I don't see it. Are you guys seeing a poll question? So the invisible financial sacrifices. There are ways to, if you are and you don't see a poll, okay, thank you. Let's get into it. So one way that a lot of us get started with investing is through our 401ks, and that's automated. It comes out of our paycheck and we are constantly building there. But we have to remember that there are so many ways to help us to be on our financial journey. And one of those is using these features that will help us to automate and take it out of our hands, make things more easy for us, and get the results that we're trying to achieve. Set goals in that way. So automating your investing, making sure to pay yourself first and not whatever's, prioritizing that it is an expense that you want to be building towards, not just the electric bill and the car note and this and things like that. But we have to make sure to pay ourselves, be consistent with it, because that discipline is really what's going to help you to be on track to build wealth long term. And so I'm able to make some of my investments manually, daily on my own, but having some elements built in like that can really help you. And it depends on the person you are. If things are you're constantly forgetting, or you're not making those deposits on a regular basis, you have to know who you are and be in tune with that, and realize, hey, I'm not keeping up with certain things. There is a way to automate this in order to take it out of my hands and force me to be more responsible when it comes to being on track with your investing. Okay, okay. Guys, thanks for chatting. If you have any questions, mark it, put the word question or a Q in the front, so when I do take a break to take a look at the chat, I can try to catch that. So, back to the topic of the day, or tying back to it about it must be nice. We might see them upgrading their cars and having those vacations, and we don't know how much debt they're in and things like that. But we have to think about the steps that we can take to improve our financial outlook, not upgrading your car. My car is about to hit 118,000 miles. It's not giving me any problems. A few weeks back, it wouldn't start. But I got that resolved. I talked to my mechanic. We came up with a plan of, I will be keeping a half a tank of gas because they said my gas line was cold. And, I'm just trying to be on top of things, be responsible, keep up with my maintenance, but overall, not having any issues. Don't have any plan on upgrading my car anytime soon. Not financing things like vacations or, clothing and things like that, or, treating yourself to a new handbag, making sure not to let the holidays run you into debt. Make sure you're keeping, keep having those sinking funds so that you can stay on top of paying things right away. If something does come up significant, hopefully it's not a present that comes up that's blowing your budget, but be on track to make sure that you can get that resolved. So we might want to say, sometimes you have to say, like, not right now, instead of just having that mindset of something comes up, something that sounds good, something that, a new whatever that comes out, whatever your vice is that you might want to add to your collection. But you have to realize, are you in a place to really be able to get that right now? And sometimes don't say to yourself, I deserve it. Sometimes you have to say to yourself, not right now. I'm not in the place for this. And these are the type of sacrifices that we will have you on track to be that person that those people are saying it must be nice about. So thank you guys for tuning in and chatting. So everyone, lifestyle is different. And I was watching a few content creators recently, and I think to myself sometimes, because I have this money mindset and I am a financial YouTuber, when I see people out there with their kids, I was just watching one, I think earlier today, and the mom, single mom, 28 years old, has one little son, and she was making this elaborate, decorating, balloons, all this stuff for Valentine's Day, which is a nice treat, but it just made me think, I'm sure Christmas was even bigger, and Easter's going to roll around, and the Easter basket is probably going to be just as elaborate as what she just did. Never mind, birthday. There's always going to be something else. And there's nothing wrong with that, I would say, but do it in moderation. And I always think to myself, does this child have an investment account? You're willing to spend for the extras and some cute pajamas, socks. Those are things that are actually going to get used. A new book, something like that. But the balloons and the decorations and certain parts of it, it's just for show. And could you be putting a little something into savings and investing instead? Create a balance. And I think this when I'm watching these content creators, but I'm not going to say it in there because I'll probably be blocked because that's not what they're talking about. But I'm assuming that, some of these are not small platforms. They're making money from being up here. And I hope that they are investing into themselves as well as the rest of their family, because that's all I'm ever striving to do when it comes to my family is thinking long term and not just thinking about today, and instilling in people around me that are willing to hear that money, we don't have to just think of the money of get the money, pay the bills. We have to take a portion of that money and make sure that it is designated to make us more money, to growing and building for the future, because it truly can. So, all right. So that was something that crossed my mind. Let's see. So guys, let me know in the chat. Are you guys able to see the poll? I see a few people said that they did. I might have to look on the computer to see the results, but I have a question for you before I put in a new poll question. Have you ever made a sacrifice in order to improve your lifestyle financially? Whether it was, battling inflation, what type of choices are you making to improve your future? Is there anything that you've adjusted, if you're, making changes to, in order to save, invest, and be on track? The poll is pinned. Okay. All right. Maybe I should make a note to check the poll. I don't want to put up the poll and then forget to do the results. Hello, Vincent. Happy Sunday to you also. Thank you for tuning in. If there's any members in the chat, drop that member milestone, and I appreciate your support. You're sacrificing eating out weekly. Okay. Let me take a look back. All right, so sacrificing that takeout food, do that meal prep. What else do we have here? Yes, I've been working a lot of overtime to actually have something in my retirement account. So working overtime to invest more. I do not drive much. I am a homebody to save money. Okay. All right, so we have a goal here. The only goal I have at the moment is to have 100K in your retirement account. I have other brokers. So you're setting up new accounts in order to invest more? All right. Thanks for sharing, guys. So I'm going to take a quick station break. If you just came in, make sure that you give the live a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are enjoying this content, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all of my videos and live streams. Oh, you can't put that much into one account. Okay, so you have an IRA. Okay, I get it. Or you're maxed out on your 401k already. I am teaching 6 classes to increase my income and pay off my debt faster. Okay. All right. So similar things, it seems. Working extra, prioritizing our investing, knowing where our weaknesses are with our budget, with the eating out. Eating out is very expensive. Even what was considered the, quick, easy little things, like I find McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts to be expensive nowadays. you're working overtime. I didn't know you had an option of overtime for vacations and conferences. Okay, okay. That's good if you have the flexibility and your company is still allowing for that, because when they tighten up, these are the things that go. All right. So I just wanted to touch on that because I feel like I've been joking with that over the last few days about that. It must be nice. No, you don't realize, you don't know my story. You don't know all of the details of how I got to where I am today. And if anybody has any questions around it, you can shoot it my way and I will share. But I don't feel like that about myself or anybody else. I know that if they are achieving things that are that impressive, I hope that they actually put in the work to get it in a good, ethical way. So, not my concern. My concern is what I'm building over here. Now, I wanted to touch on what I'm always talking about over here quite frequently is ETFs and those blue chip stocks that you can build your portfolio um, with simplicity and ease. And so we're going to take a look at a few because and remember, guys, we're going to be looking at the 5-day time frame. We're just talking about the last week, but I have to remember to zoom out because it's not just about that, but we're all in different stages of our investing journey. And I want to make sure to always be, reminding everyone we're in different places and it could take time, and there's always going to be ups and downs in the market. So we have to be ready for that. Okay. Hey, Fast Eddie, our gifted channel member. Let's see if we can get to 75 likes this week. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a look at the charts here. Let's see. Who do I have up? Okay. So let's take a look at some individual stocks first, starting with Apple. And Apple was down about 2% over the last week. I think Nvidia was about down the same, about a little over 2%. And then we have Microsoft down just 0.13%, but also in the red. We're seeing a theme here. And then Amazon, let's see, 5-day. Amazon down about 5% over the last week, one of the more significant Mag 7s to fall this week. And when it comes to investing into the S&P 500, which is a way that we can all get started or bring some simplicity into our portfolio, you're going to be most heavily weighted in some of those names that we just took a look at. We're going to have Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, as well as Google, Broadcom, Meta, Berkshire Hathaway, Tesla. When I looked at this just recently, Walmart was in that top 10, but I guess it's dipped down a little bit. But it's really had a drastic comeback recently. But okay, so we went through a few of those top names and how much they're down on the week. And then let's look at VOO, which is all of those companies, 500 of them, most heavily weighted in the names that we just mentioned. But VOO is down 0.06%. So by having some of your money invested into something like this, or depending on your risk tolerance, then you can lean on things like this that are going to have you investing, not going to have as significant growth as those individual stocks, but you can incorporate this and not have to be so impacted by the market swings because it's not going to be that one company. So like Amazon, for example, that I was sharing is down more significantly than some of those other Mag 7 companies. But you also have to think about the long term of giving things time to really build over time. NVIDIA, I'm not even going to do it on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is so extreme. Let's look at Apple on the 5-year. Okay, up 96.95%. So right now, yes, because Apple is down 2% over the last week, my portfolio is down, but I've been investing into Apple for some time now. So my overall Apple position is still up 64%, even though over the last month it's down. Over the last 6 months, you know, an average performance. But you have to think about longer terms when you're investing and give your investments a chance. But I just wanted to highlight this because there are some companies that are having pullbacks more significant than others. Amazon even had a 10% drop in a day. So we have to think about what it is that you want to add to your portfolio, or figure out what your mindset is if investing into funds is the better fit for you, because you don't want to wait for those times when your portfolio is down, pulled down by all of this volatility. Funds are not going to move like as drastically as those individual stocks, is the point that I'm trying to make. And they're also going to give you diversification, and a bit of emotional protection, depending on where you're at with your financial journey and feeling comfortable with seeing the ups and downs of the market. So I'm glad that I have taken the time to incorporate some funds into my portfolio to give me balance. At one point, I was very, very heavily invested into Apple stock. And when this dawned on me, when I said, okay, this is not the way to build a portfolio, because I was pretty much used to, the 401k, the deposit, it's invested, and that's that. But in time, now that I've incorporated these different things, I've included those ETFs to give me balance. And I'm also trying to create balance in those individual stocks so that I'm not too heavily weighted in one particular company across the board. Now, I'm going to take a quick second. Let me go down. Here we go. To thank Vincent as well as Dan for those super chats.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
Again, happy Sunday to you, Vincent, and thank you. Cheers back to you. I'm sorry. Am I mixing up names? Dapper Dividends. Russ, did I call you the wrong name? I apologize if I did. Thank you so much. I knew, Russ, you were just ridiculous the other day when I gave you a little super sticker for Super Bowl Sunday. All right. So guys, let me know. I'm going to go and take a look at that poll. But the point of, or the theme of today's show was we cannot compare ourselves to anyone else. Make sure you're out there running your own race, making standards in line with what is going on in your own household, not the Joneses down the street. We all have different incomes, live in different states, have different levels of education, different timelines when it comes to investing. But we need to just focus on what we're able to achieve. Know that we're pushing ourselves the hardest to increase our investments and be on track, and know that we all started, we're all in different places on this journey. So you might feel like, oh, Lisa's on, chapter 5 and I'm still on chapter 1. That's okay. We all have to start somewhere. And we have to just don't feel like it's too late. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. I want us to all be investing. I want us to all be maximizing the opportunities that are here for us, whether it comes to our 401k, for our children, whatever amount of money you are managing and investing. I want you to take it seriously and do the best that you can. Be in tune with that performance. I'm going to keep saying this over and over. I don't want us to be in underperforming investments, high expense ratios, not even knowing what we're invested into at our 401k. If there is another option that is available to us, as simple as being into the S&P instead of a target date fund. If you're comfortable with something like that, take a look. At least if you're not comfortable with it, do some research and find out, find a way to have an understanding of what is available, and then not just stay in something because it's simple and easy. Really push yourself to get an understanding, do your research, and then have the confidence to make changes that can potentially improve your outlook long term. When retirement rolls around, you could be tens of thousands ahead because of the changes that you make the strides to incorporate now. And I'm saying this from personal experience. If I had allowed myself to stay in certain investments, my portfolio would not be anywhere near where it is today. And I was going to say the word thriving, but I don't even want to say that, because you may not feel that some of the percentages, the gain I have is considered thriving, but I'm always looking, I'm always trying to make improvements when it comes to my portfolio. And I think that's what really matters, is that I'm putting in the work. I have my eyes open to it. I'm staying invested during the downturns. I'm investing more during those downturns. I've never panic sold anything out of my portfolio. I have a long-term mindset, and there's no fear, there's discipline when it comes to my investing strategy. All right, so I'm going to take a quick look back before I go back to the chat and see if I can see what the poll is looking like. I guess I haven't been doing polls lately because I don't even remember how to see the results. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Oh, okay. All right. So have you ever heard someone say it must be nice? About your progress. All right. So 50, oh, it's a 50-50 split right now. All right. So I'm going to end that poll. That wasn't too exciting. So yes, 50% said yes and 50% said no, that they've never heard someone say that about their progress. Okay. Okay. I would say I would have voted yes when it comes to that. And um, you know, I, do your own thing. I'm not for the hate, because I know what I've done, and I know the discipline that I've had, and I know that the work I've done to make improvement, to make strides to improve my portfolio. And so I don't want it said about me, and I won't be saying it about anyone else. All right. So I'm going to put up another poll question, but I'm going to take a little break and try to go through the chat a little bit. Let me see if there's any questions. You are extremely aggressive when it comes to your stock. I hope that's working well for you. Is there anything that tanked on you and you wish you would have had a stop loss on, or anything like that to protect you? I'm trying to pull up this I think Anthony and someone else was asking about this stock, IONQ. Oh, you have stock in IONQ. Okay. And is that a quantum stock? Not familiar with it, but I think I saw Anthony mentioning that one also. Okay, let's see. So what is your question around IONQ? I've had to run numbers, but over the last week, I think I'm up more than 1%, probably not 2%. Okay. But yeah, I know investing is not a week to week things, but depending on when you got started, I want people just to be okay with the weekly moves, the monthly moves, those larger dips, and think about 5-year time frames, 10-year time frames in getting ready to build your portfolio for the long term, especially if you're younger. You and you think you might be working for another 20 or 30 years, use that investment calculator. Put in numbers that are really tied to what you can build in that time frame. Don't just think about today. Thank you for the support and have a good day at work. YouTube police. Hey, realists. Thank you for tuning in. You're going to do a live on this topic. You're going to do a live on the same topic I'm doing today. We'll see what you call it. Make sure you have an exit strategy. Goes along with what I'm saying. Yes. So yeah, if you want to be in those more speculative things, I don't encourage it until you really have your knowledge on how to navigate those things. A lot of people don't have a clear vision, or I was going to talk about this too. I had this in mind. I'm not sure if it was for today, but trading and investing as well as saving. I know I probably say the wrong word sometimes, interchanging, but I hear all the time people talk about save for retirement. I'm not saving for retirement. I try not to use it in that way. I try to say that I'm investing for retirement. Because I want my gains to be so much more substantial than what I'm gaining when it comes to savings. For me, savings is my high yield savings account, my money market account, using a CD if they have, slightly higher rates. That's saving. My investment portfolios have gained significantly more than saving. So don't be okay if you have a retirement account and you're only up a few percent in a year when we've had 15% or even over about 25%. We recently had 2 years back to back with about a 25% gain. So if you're looking at your investment portfolio, if you're not looking, look. But if you look at your retirement account from your employer and you're up 5%, less than 10%, uh, th- that's aiming too low in my opinion. Why is your performance, why is the overall S&P up 25% and my portfolio up 10%? Depending on your age and your risk tolerance and the offerings, uh, I really would dig deep to make sure that you're not losing money, you're not leaving money on the table by being in underperforming investments that are way conservative, and you could be doing so much better for yourself. This is your money that you're trying to build and grow, to take care of yourself, to improve your family's financial outlook. So I just don't want to continue to see people uh, not being able to thrive when it comes to this opportunity. You're asking, do I tell people my net? I have never done a full net worth video. No, I have not. How much I've saved? No, I don't give my savings account balances either. But I can tell you this: I am a net worth millionaire. Like, my assets under management are there, not strictly from my stock market investments, but with real estate and everything together, I am there. But, I'm still trying to build and grow. I've never also given a full, definite goal of, being at 2.5 million or what my fire number is. I've never shared that because it's still a work in progress for me, but I'm just, trying to stay on track to achieve as much as possible. And, I have had multiple setbacks when it comes to that journey with layoffs and then having to reset and get back on track with a new employer and getting started back up with contributing to the 401k. But I have not ever shared all of that detail, and I don't intend to. I hope that I'm sharing enough. Everything that I share is truthful and detailed, and I do share certain investment portfolios in detail. And those are the ones that I really thought that would be helpful for me to share because of the improvement and the turnaround and the money mindset that I built in order to make so much improvement, getting in contact with my employer, like I've already been mentioning today, and knowing that, oh, I don't have to be just defaulted into this fund. There are these other options for me to invest into that have lower fees, better performance, are not, heavily into bonds and not something that I feel that is right for the stage of wealth building that I am in, I shall say. Yes, I work. I have two jobs. I have two on the book jobs as well as my real estate, where I consider myself to be the bookkeeper and the property manager and wear as many hats as I can so that I don't have to pay for those type of services. So what I'm not doing, what I'm not physically able to do is be out there, dealing with the snow and the lawn and stuff like that. But I try to do as much as I possibly can. If it's a small repair, I've talked about one of my older tenants that doesn't have a smartphone and cannot convey anything to me as far as an issue. I pretty much have to go there and look at it in order to help her. But I try to get out there and do whatever I can physically do myself. A clogged drain or a broken handle or something like that. I'm definitely going to be over there fixing it myself. Is there any stock you're looking at during these downward moves? I shared a few in a recent video. I think I listed 4 in there, individual stocks. That I am working on. Not Netflix was not in the video, but what was in the video, I believe, was NVIDIA, AMD, Amazon, and Microsoft might have been a few that I touched on as those individual stocks that I want to build on. And a few funds that I am working on are SMH. I think I'm going into maybe like week 3 doing $10 daily into that. And that is a semiconductor ETF. And another one that I'm working on very consistently, well, 2 more that I'm working on quite consistently is SPMO as well as FSPGX. And I'm doing all of that at Fidelity. Personally, I'm looking at Netflix and Microsoft. Good picks. Yes, my Netflix, there is an opportunity for me there too. I just a couple months ago, it was maybe 2 weeks. It was very close to when they announced the stock split that I first invested into Netflix. So it's only been a few months. I sold some of my Disney stock, something I rarely do, but yeah, got a little after, Disney has not done anything in the years that I've held it. I decided to sell some of my Disney stock. I pretty much immediately bought one share. Excuse me. I bought one share of Netflix, and then it split. So then I had 10 shares. I haven't added too much to it since, but I am definitely in the red when it comes to Netflix, because on top of the stock split, then came this, Warner Brothers deal. So a company that I do believe in and I think will turn around, and you have to have your long-term vision on. But right now, with the way things have been, I definitely see that as a buying opportunity. So I would be with you on building up that position. But yes, I didn't mention that one in the video, but yeah, Netflix and Microsoft, definitely Microsoft. Microsoft. So like I said, Netflix was a new position. I have 10 shares, and that's because of the split. More expensive. It was about $1,000. So it wasn't something that I was going to be able to build quickly at that price, but now it's more in line with a lot of other investments. But Microsoft is another one that is a bit more expensive than some others. Like we were looking at here today, Microsoft is about $400 a share, while Apple is $255, Amazon is right under 200, and Nvidia is $183. Now, the share price has nothing to do about the quality, the market cap, the fundamentals of the company, but because of the share price, my share sizes grow more quickly with certain investments than others, because I may be doing my investing in small amounts. If you've been here before, I will probably invest $5, $10, $20. I'm not always jumping in to buy a full share. I have that flexibility on the platforms that I use, whether it's Fidelity or my MooMoo account. I can buy fractional shares, small amounts. I also do build up certain of my growth positions, are on my Webull account, which I've had for some time now. And that's also where I do my trading, is in my Webull account. Be mindful about what you shop for at the grocery stores. Read the nutrition labels and ingredients lists. I don't know what was going on at this point, Vincent. This is, what time did you make this comment? At 3:37? I'm a bit back. I don't know what we were talking about at that time. Okay. Please do you work for salary? Yes. Yes. Everything that I'm doing is salaried roles. Oh, I guess I can count another job. This person is counting YouTube. YouTube is a job too, I guess. Yes. Okay, so you live in Ghana, but you're investing in the US market? Thanks for sharing that. I always wonder, like, outside of like the US and Canada, I think are my biggest demographic, but what insights, or, what can people pull from my channel from other countries? Okay, I'm just taking a quick look at you feel like it's going to hit as soon as you sell. What are you going to sell? I'm sorry. I'm a little behind. I didn't see. I'm the millionaire next door. Definitely next door in a regular city block. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions, but feel free to drop any questions. But that was my topic of the day. I want us to just be over here running our own race. focusing on what is really important. There's no timing. Everyone is different. Everyone, I cannot waste any time trying to compare myself to the next person. I am just trying to focus on doing the best that I can to improve my financial outlook. Okay, so I see a question came in here. Hi, Lisa. What are your feelings on penny stocks? Do I have any I do not have any current favorite penny stocks. Now, what my feeling is about penny stocks is that is something for someone with a high level of knowledge. And I feel like a lot of my viewers, a lot of people that are here may not be ready for that yet. And what so when it comes to my channel, what I've been saying about it, I'm not against it. I'm not against anything. And I'm not against trading. I'm not against crypto. I'm not against, you know, penny stocks. I'm not against anything in particular. I just want people to get into them when they are at the right stage for that to be in their portfolio. And I think that a lot of people want lower price stocks because they are concerned about the price. And there's no reason to be concerned about the price. If we want, like what we talked about today, if we want NVIDIA in our portfolio, if we want Netflix, if we want Meta, whatever it is, we don't have to go and choose those penny stocks. I'm not saying that there aren't quality and potential there, but you have to be more in tune with that in order to do the research and see the forward guidance and potential of those penny stocks. I don't have any penny stocks that I can think of off the top of my head. And my personal definition of a penny stock is something $5 or below. So really can't think of anything that is on my radar right now. But I think when I first got it started investing outside of my 401k, I think the draw and the appeal and the thought about penny stocks was that I can buy a bunch of it. I can buy a lot of shares of it. And I'm glad that I got that out of my head, because there was no reason for me to think that that's all I could do, when I could go and, back then be buying Google at $3,000 a share. I could buy $5, $10, $20 of it, and other things, Tesla. There's been a few things that I've been investing into before they had a stock split, when they had share prices of thousands. And so I have to put that out of my mind. Instead of buying a $5 stock, hey, Lisa, why don't you just put $5 into this quality blue chip company that we've heard of, that has those fundamentals that you want to have exposure to. And if I am so inclined to come across a penny stock that I want to do the same with, I'm not going to invest into it in the same way that I'm going to invest into Microsoft or NVIDIA. I'm going to probably invest into it, but put my stop loss on just in case, because I don't want to be stuck holding it. I don't feel that I'll be stuck holding my Apple stock or my Google stock or things like that. So I don't have a stop loss on them. And even Amazon has a 10% dip. I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to wait for Amazon to recover. I don't know, random penny stock. I don't want to put that mindset behind it and have it as in my mind and in my portfolio as that level of a quality investment. All right. Let's see. Elevated, thank you for hanging out today. Let me know if you have any questions. Lisa, is there any stock you would have sold out of position? I wonder if there are any signs that trigger me to sell. Is there any stock you have sold out of position? I wonder, it's been a while since I've sold an entire position. And I would say that one thing I can think back to is JetBlue. JetBlue and Ford. I sold all of that. They weren't significant positions, but I could see they just weren't the fit for my portfolio. And I did not do thorough research and think long term when it came to incorporating them into my portfolio. Ford has just been it wasn't moving. It was like 10, it had pushed up to 20, came back down again. It just didn't thrill me. And then JetBlue, I invested into JetBlue. I haven't looked at it in the longest. I don't even want to pull it up. I invested into JetBlue when we were, going through complete lockdown, no flights, no travel, no anything, thinking, not doing deep fundamental analysis about how those type of investments perform long term. And so in time, yeah, I saw that it wasn't thrilling when things opened back up. It didn't seem to be in line with what I wanted for my portfolio. So I let it go completely, but it's very rare. I usually do a video when I sell something, even a portion or all of my investment in certain areas, because I'm not big on trading my shares, like taking profit on my shares. If I sell something, it's usually because I'm going to move it right into something else. It's not that I'm taking it for, income or for cash for some issue that I'm having. Just like with the Disney example that I gave, I sold some Disney, and all the time that I was holding the Disney, I was always thinking to myself, why didn't I invest into Netflix or something else with this Disney? But so I came to a point where I said, I'm going to sell a portion of my Disney, immediately move it to Netflix. My target stock is significantly down too. And if I could go back in time, I haven't sold any of my target yet. It does pay a pretty strong dividend as compared to some other investments. But if I could go back, yeah, I would have invested into Costco or Walmart. But everything is not perfect. Everything is not perfect, and I'm willing to share about. Okay. All right. You can only change today, and tomorrow you can't change yesterday. I like that. I like that. Is Daryl, are you taking note? Do you like that quote? Daryl does quotes of the day. He's always looking for fun things to make his shorts on. But I really like that. And that's the way to look at it. All right. Hey, I'm not sure. Are you guys able to hear me and see me? Let me take a look at this bad connection. Okay. Did the live end? No, the live did not. Okay. Uh, all right. So, guys, I seem to be having some issues with my connection. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. Thank you guys that are still here. I see there are still a few in the chat. I was able to try to reconnect to my phone to, do the hotspot thing in order just to get my computer up for a second. But I don't know how long that's gonna last. Okay, but I'm back. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was I've been jokingly saying this and that's it turned into today's show. It must be nice. Yeah. No, it's not it must be nice. It when it comes to me and many others, it is the work that they've put in. It is the story behind everything that they have going on. They don't know where you started. They don't know what you survived. They don't know what you sacrificed. So, guys, just focus on your own journey and be empowered, be confident, do more. Even if you think you're doing well, dig deep, do research, have an understanding of all of your investments because I want us to really be able to take advantage of this opportunity that we have. Um, Russ, thank you for tuning in. Thanks again for that super chat. Have a good rest of your day. I'm assuming you'll be live tonight. But yeah, stay disciplined. Don't let this crazy market shake you out of good positions and keep your eyes open to opportunities like someone mentioned today in the chat with Netflix. Amazon is one that is really, having their struggles right now. And Microsoft also, AMD, some of the things that I'm looking at, other things that you have in your portfolio that you may have small positions on, set those alerts. Make a plan on if you're going to continue building into them. Make a plan on being consistent. Make a plan on how you're going to go about investing maybe larger amounts when there are those indicators in line with, where you really want to catch this particular stock. So this is how we are going to be on track to build wealth and make our portfolios thrive. Do not be fearful of all of the turmoil that goes on, the ups and downs of the market. We have to realize that that's a part of investing. And that real wealth is built in the red. And, the millionaires, they know this, but I want us regular people to know this and be ready to have our portfolio deep in the green in the future. So I'm going to wrap it up for today because I don't want to be wary of this internet connection, but thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back soon. Watch out for my videos throughout the week. Have that notification bell on. And sorry we didn't get to another poll question, but I've scheduled out a whole bunch on my community wall, and maybe we can have a live sometime soon going through the answers to those questions. And if I do post anything in those community polls and quizzes and questions that you don't agree with my answer on, make sure to leave me some comments and let me know. And like I said, that could be something that we can use for conversation in the future. But I'm going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend. And let's pick a song to end today. Let's do Stock It Up. I only have 2 songs. Stock it up.